Hey guys, it's Monica at Academic Phoenix Plus, and welcome to another tutorial about this cool looking fantasy sword. So this time we're going to be doing a little bit of shading. I am going to do my best to create this procedurally with the model that I have, but I might need to go into Photoshop and just kind of tweak these little guys. But overall, I think I have enough information that I can create the textures procedurally. So let's go ahead and get started. The first part I want to handle is the handle, pun intended. Let's go ahead and assign a new material. So right click on the handle, assign a new material. We're going to go to Arnold and use the AI standard surface. Now, I do like to label everything, so let's make sure that this is called the red handle shader. And I am going to choose a red. Now, you can pick the saturated red and then make it darker, or you can always color pick here. And then, of course, you probably want to go a little lighter. I do have a sky dome already, but in case you don't have it, let's go to Arnold Lights, Physical Sky, and that will give you a nice light that we can take a look at the render. So this is what it looks like so far. It doesn't look like much, but if we scroll down here, you can see that there's a little hot spot down there. And we really want to make this hot spot travel all the way up. So right now it looks a little bit plasticky because it's the default, but we really want the highlight to look more metallic and also have a higher contrast. So let's go back to our shader, and I'm going to crank up my metalness, which is going to help with the specularity. I'm also going to go to the specular and change the color to red as well, just to make sure that all highlights are red. That's what makes it metal. I think the roughness works okay. You might, if you want it sharper, you can always reduce the roughness, or if you want the specularity to spread, that would also help if you increase the roughness. And I'm going to look at the anisotropy. This is actually something that I really like to work with. It will give the highlight a little bit more direction. So now you can see that this highlight is going up and down the handle. And the fun thing about this specularity is that I can actually rotate it. So if you guys are in the mood, you can rotate it. So this is something that happens a lot with metal because of the way it's built. So I'm going to go ahead and put it around 0.4. And that's going to make my handle look more metallic. It's a little stronger than the reference image, so I can increase the roughness. I can reduce the anisotropy if I want to. So it's really up to you how you want to push this further, but I'm enjoying just the process. All right, let's go ahead and grab the next one, and we're going to assign a new material. Let's grab an Arnold AI standard surface, and this time this is going to be our gold shader. Lucky for us, Arnold already provides a gold shader for us. So let's go to presets. We're going to go to gold and then replace. Now you guys are going to start seeing that our viewport can't really, or at least my viewport can't really handle it. You're going to just have to actually look at the render window a lot and then render from there, because the viewport won't be able to handle it. Okay, great. So this is what gold looks like so far. If I wanted to tweak some things, I could. I'm just confirming that it didn't turn anything weird on. I might want to reduce the roughness a little bit, and I'm going to take this and just press the number 3 so it softens the render. Same thing with this one. And I think this button's too big, so let me make it smaller. Oops. Okay, I'm going to press stop so it stops rendering, and let's grab some faces. All right, so this is getting a little hard to see, so I'm going to turn this one on, which is basically called use default material. So it looks like a Lambert. So I thought this was a little rotated. Just make it a little smaller. All right. So we do have some pieces that are a little bit more kind of like chrome-like. So I'm going to start with assigning a new material for this little guy. Arnold AI standard surface. Let's go to my presets. I'm going to go to my chrome and replace. I'm going to drag this guy up here, create my own, kind of like my own workspace. I'm going to zoom out, and the focus is mostly going to be play here. There we go. That's better. So you can see that the chrome is really reflective, and that's fine, but I need it to be a little bit kind of worn. So I'm going to go back into my chrome. Again, let's label. And I'm going to increase my roughness so that it spreads out the shader. So you can see that it's starting to look a little bit rougher. I can change the color to be a little bit grayer, and usually a little gray with a hint of blue. So I would probably suggest that you go in and just kind of add a little bit of blue, bluish green. Let's go somewhere around here to give it that color. There you go. So it's got a little bit of roughness around the edges. I can tell that my button still needs a little bit of modeling love, so I might have to make it a little longer so it stands out a little bit more. But that should get me enough information to move this forward. Press stop. I'm going to select this object here, right click. Let's go to face. Let me stop this so it doesn't kill my computer. And I'm going to, I double clicked on the faces, assign an existing material, and I'm going to choose Chrome. Let's see what that looks like. So you can see that that's what it's looking. I could probably push this texture a little bit more, but I'm going to keep moving forward. All right, this area needs some as well. So I'm going to go to object mode. I'm going to grab some faces. Might be better if I go to the side view. And let's see, let's go to faces. We're going to grab these faces here. I might need to grab these guys here. And I think that's as far as I'm going to push it. So I'm going to right click, assign existing material, and then we're going to choose Chrome. You can see what that looks like. There you go. So you can see that some of my modeling needs a little bit of love, but I think from a distance, I think I'll be okay. Press stop really fast. And actually, let's scroll out and see what that looks like so far. The model looks semi-transparent. Let's turn off X-ray. And let's see what that looks like from afar. So, and let me turn this on so at least I know what I'm seeing. So you can see that it's pretty much working. The textures, we still need to go a little further, but you can tell that it reads from afar. I'm gonna press stop. So this part is gold. We have a lot of gold in here. Let's select everything, all the little details that are supposed to be gold. This one and this one. Assign existing material, and again, we're gonna choose the gold shader. And now we have this green. So that's what I like about this design, is that it's got a lot of different colors. So again, it's hard to see, so I'm going to turn this off. So this whole area appears to be green. So let's grab some faces. I'm going to select these, deselect these, and select that, and I'm going to assign a new material. Again, it's going to be an AI standard surface. It's kind of green. We do have a jade. If I go to my presets, I do have a jade color, but the problem is that it makes it semi-transparent, so I'm going to make it solid, and let's see what that looks like. It's very green. So let's go ahead and try to pick a darker color, something that matches it a little bit better. Now again, this is supposed to be metallic, so I'm going to go ahead and increase my metalness. Change my highlight to something a little brighter. Feel like my color can be a little darker. So again, you can just color pick. Too dark. Let's color pick again. Looks a little better. I'm going to lighten it. We kind of get the idea there. We can push it a little further, of course, as always, but let's go ahead and fix this area. So I'm going to need an edge. So let's go to insert edge loop, and I'm going to add an edge right here, and then I'm going to rotate it. Now it is going to deform, so just be careful. Don't forget to expand it back out, because otherwise it's going to look strange. I might flatten it a little bit and then try again. Again, you might need to scale it up a little bit, maybe crush it a little bit. So that's going to give me that extra faces that I need for right here. And then again, I'm going to do existing material. I didn't label it, but I know it's the AI standard 4. So let's make sure that we've labeled it so that it actually says that. So let me go to AI standard 4, and this is going to be my green metal shader. And let's see. So these guys also have that green shader. So let's go ahead and select them. And we're going to assign the existing material. This is the green metal shader. And let's see what that looks like so far. Cool. It's looking very clean. So I'm going to go ahead and rough it up the, oop, I wrote greed. How funny. Green. Let me take my roughness and let me just go a little bit more desaturated so it doesn't look so perfect. And I'm going to reduce my metalness just to kind of not make it so shiny. Let's move on from there. All right. So the next part is going to be this blade. So let's assign it again. We're going to keep assigning new materials, AI standard surface. This one is interesting. This one actually has like a white and then it goes into kind of like a darker gray. Now, the idea behind that is that this is supposed to be a sharp metal, right? Almost chrome-like, right? But if I really want to push that gradient, I probably want to create a color gradient. So what I'm going to do is go to color. I'm going to click on this little guy right here and then look for the ramp. I can see the effect on my model. It might be easier if I turn this off. And press play. And you can see that I'm getting some really interesting results, and that's because of my UVs. So I'm going to do a quick UV. I'm going to do planar mapping because it's basically flat. So planar mapping options, I'm going to choose, let's see, I think X might be a good one. Project. Nope, wrong one. Let's try again. UVs, planar mapping options. I'm going to do Z. There you go. That's better. So now where I press play, I get that. Great. So the next thing I want to do is instead of V ramp, I'm going to use U ramp, which is going to make it go left to right. And now I just have to find that gradient. There it is. Now the thing is like it's not going to arc very much. Like it's not going to follow the blade too much, but it's going to give it enough of a hint that there's something a little bit darker. Now you could choose other things. I mean, we do have radial, for example, or circular, which I could try to play around with. But let me see if I can get this to. That one's going to be a little bit more challenging to work with. So I think I'm better off with the U. Switch this to the other side. Kind of reduce the gradient size. Like that. And then of course black is never a good idea, so let's go ahead and make it into like a dark gray. And we get a little bit darker shading, and then it moves on from there. If you want to make it sharper, you just bring these two colors together. Cool. All right, let's see this guy. This is very similar to the one at the bottom, so I'm going to go ahead and do an existing material, and I believe I called this chrome. I'm going to do the same thing for this one. I'm going to, let's not forget to select everything and delete the history. This one is going to be my small blade shader, because I know what that is. And this is also chrome, so let me grab these guys here and assign existing material. Let's see, here's my chrome. Now I know I'm going through this relatively fast. Again, this is more of like a kind of like a sketch, so people can actually, I can give this to my boss and just kind of be like, what do you think of the colors? Do you feel like this is appropriate? Is it close to what you're looking for? That's kind of like the purpose of this whole look. So let me bring this down. Let me decrease the roughness. I'm going to play with the angle of this to see if I can get a little bit more of that cool highlight. And then let's go to the glow. I'm going to select this. This is going to be, again, my new material, Arnold AI Standard surface. This is going to be my blue Emission. And I always like to write shader just so people know what I'm talking about. And I'm going to choose that nice blue color that it has. Again, you might want to choose the color picker and just kind of pick a nice color in there. And it is a little bit metallic, which I probably would go ahead and increase. But if we really want this thing to glow, to look like it's glowing, we really need to focus on what's called emission. So if I go over here under emission in my AI standard surface, I want to crank this up, and you'll see that it starts to almost look like it's glowing. So that's what we want. Let me go ahead and grab a little bit more of that color that it has. And fairly quickly, we can create a really nice looking sphere. All right, let me fix this one. This is the chrome shader. I just think it's a little too metallic at this point. I'm going to reduce the anisotropy and just kind of try to I'm going to increase the roughness a little bit so it kind of fades a little bit more. It's a little shiny, which it's the whole point, but I don't want it that shiny. I do want a little bit of that metalness, but I also want it to look like that it looks solid instead of like something that may shatter. All right, let's see what we have now. We need this one to be the chrome, and we also need this one to be the chrome. So again, this is going to be the chrome. There is a little blue sphere in little blue dots, which I can do fairly quickly. I just have to grab this face and then assign the blue emission. And then, so I'm curious what it looks like so far. Yeah, it's looking pretty cool. And finally, the big blade. Let's create, I'm going to go to the hypershade because I already have the small blade texture right here. If I graph the network, it's got that ramp. I'm going to use something similar so I don't have to recreate it. If I go to my hypershade, go to edit, and then say duplicate shading network, I'm going to get a small blade copy, which is great because this is exactly what I want, except this one's going to be for my large blade. And then remove that one at the end. And the purpose for this is so I can already use something that it exists. So I've got my right click. I'm going to go and assign a large. All right, let's try that again. Internal stand-in SE. What the heck does that mean? All right, let's take a look at this blade. I have my large blade. It looks, is it missing an SG node? Oh, there's an issue. It's not a big deal. I'm just going to delete it. I'm going to hit tab and bring in an AI standard. Press enter. And this is the color. So I'm just going to grab that little tail and drag it into the base color. So now it has an SG node, which I guess it's missing. So I'm just going to middle mouse and drag this here. That's another way of assigning a shader. So there's a million ways to assign a shader to an object. You can right click on it. You can middle mouse and drag. So I'm sure there's other ways, but that's the fastest one. So I'm going to relabel this. That was interesting. Usually that works. Large blade shader. All right, let's take a look at what it looks like. Now the blade is going the wrong way, the color. So what we're going to do is flip the colors this direction. And I'm going to kind of soften that transition. Push this further back so it doesn't take so much space. Or according to the reference, actually, it's a little closer to the edge. Something like that. Now you can see it's starting to get some really crazy designs right here. So that makes me a little nervous. So I'm going to planar map really quickly. And then I should get a little bit more of that predictable result. Now it's going, so now it's acting a little bit more predictable because now it's like a perfect line. So if I bring these two colors together, you can see that it's like a perfect line. So I'm going to just mess around with my UVs a little bit. I'm going to select my UVs and I'm going to rotate them a little bit. So hopefully I can get that gradient to just look a little bit different. There we go. And now I can go back into my color and try to change it. Just a little bit. I don't need a straight edge as it had. Well, I could, but sometimes the transition's always kind of nice. There we go. Something like that. All right, let's go back to the shader. I'm going to increase the metalist so it has some reflections. Going to reduce the roughness, going to turn on the anisotropy and maybe play around with the specularity rotation. And this is probably a good place to stop. Again, this is kind of like a rough draft of what this blade can look like. To get these details and things like that, I would have to go into Substance or ZBrush or Photoshop and create a texture for it. And I think I'll do that in the next tutorial. So thank you very much for watching. I really appreciate it. Let me know if you guys have any questions by leaving a comment below. In the next tutorial, I'm going to do some quick textures, and then I also want to create a nice final render. So I look forward to showing you all of that. So let me know what you think. Leave a comment below, and also don't forget to subscribe to my channel. Click on that little bell so you never miss any of my uploads. And don't forget to take a look at academicphoenixplus.com, where you can find free downloads, free ebooks, free training, and all sorts of wonderful stuff just for you. So thank you so much for watching. I really appreciate you spending time with me, and I will see you next time.